Well, good morning, City on a Hill. Glad that you are tuning in with us, whatever time it is. Hopefully it's October 18th, because that's when this is happening right now. But I recognize some of you may not be watching it right now. Some of you are slackers, either that or you're at work, whatever. We're glad that you're tuning in. Once again, we've got a great show for you, a lot to talk about. Lots of things happening at City on a Hill, as usual. I feel like I say that a lot, like that's a surprising thing, and it's really just kind of par for the course. I should probably say more often when things are not happening, because that would be a little more, I don't know, newsworthy, but hopefully that won't be the case. We like to keep things busy and interesting around here. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Of course, we are now, let me think about this, about 12 days away from our trunk or treat, which is our way of sticking it to the pagans who celebrate the devilish holiday of Halloween, which I, by the way, don't think is actually all that devilish. It is what it is. It is what you make it, right? But trunk or treat, going to be a lot of fun. Saturday, we will be having lots of candy there, games, fun, community, chances to invite people to church the next day. That's what we're hoping to accomplish there. So hopefully we'll see you if you want to sign up for a trunk or bring candy or do both. You can do that. You can sign up through the Church Center app or let Emma Cunnington, our children's pastor, know. Second of all, I wanted to make you aware that we announced previously that we would not be having our intergenerational service this month, and that has changed because we've moved the Fearless series to January. And so intergenerational will be happening this month. We are in a new series called Destinations. It's all about the mission that God gives you, and I did think, given that it's like the last week of October, near Halloween, what better thing to talk about than hell, right? It's a very biblical doctrine and something that the kids need to be educated on, and it kind of fits the theme. So I will be teaching that at our intergenerational service, and critically, not our engine service. So here's what happened. We had this idea for an intergenerational service and thought we'd shorthand it, put a little engine behind it, because that's what makes things run. And I don't know, it was fun, it was creative. And then we were made aware that the word engine is also a slang term that is derogatory towards people who are Native Americans. And being the very culturally sensitive people that we are here, decided that actually really not probably the wisest thing in the world to call it that. So it's intergenerational now. We're fine with it. It honestly communicates better anyway. Hopefully we will see you there. Please come. Please, if you're here on Wednesday nights, especially if you come to my class on the Old Testament, come because I'm going to be teaching. There's a little bit of fun up front. You don't really have to participate. You can just be there in support. Well, I almost knocked my coffee over. Of the kids, and it would be a very meaningful thing for you to show up there and be a part of that. So hopefully you will participate in that as well. We've got many things to do today, so I'm going to be quiet and let the show progress. I have a special guest today in Pastor Derrick's Candid Corner that we will be moving on to next. I think you're going to love this guest. She's a lot smarter than she looks. We'll be right back. Well, here we are, the one and only, the lovely June Barker at not Derrick's Candid Corner, but Derrick's Table Talk. How about that?
Oh, there's Table Talk.
We're having Table Talk today. I want to just say right up front that I said something very intentionally so I could make a point about it, which is that she's a lot smarter than she looks. There is this statement has been oriented towards you now like 2 or 3 times. I think in love, obviously, but it's not a nice thing to say. And so if you are someone out there who says that endearingly to other people, it's not the best thing to say. Although I guess if you were to say you're a lot better looking than you're smart, then that's equally offensive.
Yeah.
So how about just you're very smart and good looking? Actually, don't even say that, because then just don't even say anything. Just say hi. How are you?
It's actually just okay not to comment on someone's looks in general. Let's just say that.
That sounds good. You're very smart. How about that? So I brought on June because we are bringing back The Exchange. We're not really bringing it back. That's a bad way of saying it. It sounds like it went away. It didn't really go away. We were reforming it, retooling it. Tweaking it, if you will. You can't say tweaking here. We're a church of addicts. There's like literal tweakers that... do you know what that is?
No.
Oh, she
we don't
She's
need
just too pure. She's too... Okay. So we are tweaking it to a better setup, and I thought it'd be great to have the mastermind on to talk about it herself. So tell me about it.
Awesome, yeah. So something that we learned when we first launched it, we were doing like a weekly study for the women in our church. And it was going great for a while, but we kind of lost that middle generation of like young moms that still have small kids at home because they just could not handle another night of the week having something.
Yep.
If it's not a church, it's
Yep.
kids' sports or, whatever, fill in the blank. And so I was loving having all these different generations mixed together, and then it just quickly turned into our older generation that are maybe like retired, have less on their plate, and then just like a few of us younger ones that don't have kids yet. So I asked Derrick, I was like, is there a way that we can kind of redo this so that we can include more women into it and make it less of like a weekly thing that they have to cross off their list and more like something that they can look forward to. And so he actually brought up the idea of having it once a month, and I just thought that was the best idea ever. It sounded great for those of us that help with setup and everything, but also just to include that group of women that don't want something every single week but still want to be involved with the other women in our church, getting to know them. So, yeah.
And I think it's really exciting to hear it because when you have a monthly thing, I think the problem with weekly gatherings, and this is even true for church, like church on Sunday mornings, is people have that idea that like, well, if I miss Sunday, it'll be fine because I can be back next week.
Mm-hmm.
If you miss something that's monthly, you have to wait another month before it happens
Right.
again.
Yes.
Right. So it's potentially 2 months before you are really able to interact. And so I think it makes the event more special, there's a little more urgency to get to it.
Yeah.
And because of the format, you're able to really, I think, dive deeper and do some things that maybe on a week-to-week basis would be too much,
right?
But on a month-to-month basis is like really good. So I'm really looking forward to that. We do want to say about childcare. This is a major part of this. That the hope is that middle generation that does have kids will interact with this. Mm-hmm. We recognize the need for childcare. On that note, let me just say this: that prior to that, childcare was not being accessed very well at all, and so. We don't have just automatic childcare set up. If you are a mom that wants to come to this and you need childcare for this event, we'll absolutely provide it for you. But we need you to let us know prior to it, so that we can organize it. We're not going to just have it because we have to pay those ladies. We're trying to utilize a separate service for childcare so as to not bog down women that could potentially be going to the exchange, and that service costs more money than what it costs to just have a regular person. So we're just trying to be good stewards. We're more than happy to have as much childcare as we need, but we just need to know ahead of time so that we can steward that well. I will also say to you dads out there who may or may not be watching, man up and watch your kids. Right? I mean, I recognize some of you have jobs, and I'm not talking to you. I mean, if you're working nights or whatever, then that's a different thing. But if it's just like, man, that kind of whole, and I think it's going away. The younger generations are doing a better job of this. But this idea that like dads don't know how to watch their kids is silly and stupid and unbiblical. You're the leaders of your home. It should be a good thing that your wife is going to this once a month, and you need to be doing everything you can to make that happen and make her feel like there's no problems, there's no stress. You just go and enjoy and grow. And so. Step up if you're not stepping up. Word from your pastor here. Anything else? Worship?
Yeah, we're going to be having a little bit of worship every time, and then different women from the church come in and speak.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll kind of break out into groups and have discussion questions. So it's going to be more learning, but still including that community aspect of discussion at the end. So
love it. If you have not been, and if you have not rubbed elbows with this lady, do so, because she's a treasure. You're doing a great job. We love you. And this is a really, really great opportunity to connect with women. What's the first time y'all are meeting?
It'll be the first Monday in November,
okay.
6:45 p.m. in the worship center.
Perfect.
Yep. And I was going to say really quick that we had a group of women that met at the exchange. They actually came to your pastor's luncheon. Yeah. And then came the next day to our first exchange ever. And they're still like really good friends and have all gone on to get plugged into the church, gotten baptized. So this is just a great way for people to get plugged into. So if you know of any new women that need a place to hang out, then invite them as well.
Would love to have them. Hopefully we see you there. I won't see you there. I'm not a woman.
You're
but
not
hopefully
invited.
June we'll see you there. Coming up next, I think we have a little game time. Little game time fun. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Well, hey guys, welcome back. June here, and I'm with the lovely Miss Emma Cunnington, who is actually our first speaker at the first exchange we're having back in November. So thank you, Emma, for agreeing to speak. I didn't really give her an option, but yes, I did. But yeah, she's going to be sharing some really cool stuff with us, and today we're going to have a little exchange of a game. I don't really know the connection between the exchange and this game we're going to play, because this game is called Box of Lies. And so we're supposed to lie to each other, which we will not be doing at the monthly women's meeting, the exchange. Okay? So there's really no connection, but just the word right there. So we're going to be playing Box of Lies. And basically what's going to happen is each of us are going to be handed a box. And we have to decide whether we want to describe the object in the box or if we want to lie about the object in the box. So I believe Emma's going first.
Oh gosh, okay.
And we're both really good at this.
No, not at all. No straight faces over here.
Oh my gosh, it's like a child. This is a live human baby.
All right. Okay.
Okay. I'm so excited.
This is, it's a lamp.
Okay.
And it has leopard print on the shade. And it has a monkey on the base. And then it's got some streamers wrapped around it.
Okay. Okay, so great detail description.
Yeah.
But I saw the way that Morgan carried it in, and I gotta be honest, it looked quite babyish, less lamp-ish. But you did describe it in great detail. And so I'm over here thinking, maybe she's telling the truth, but maybe she's lying, maybe she's telling the truth. I'm gonna go with truth.
It's a lie. It is a lamp, but it's got zebra
A
print.
skull.
And it's a skull.
That's the most terrifying thing ever.
It's kind of scary.
Look away, children.
Look away.
Look away.
Look at that beautiful thing.
Wow, okay, so 1 point for Emma. You did good. I really
Thanks.
couldn't tell you were lying. My turn. Sure. All right. We got, yes, how to describe. We have a little fish toy. I think it's one of those wind-up bath toys.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting upon, inside, to be honest, inside a gray-haired wig. Cradled in it, to be honest.
Okay.
And it's colorful.
It's the fish is colorful.
The fish is colorful.
Okay.
The wig is gray.
I think you're telling the truth.
I am telling the truth. Here we have
That is bizarre.
old fish. How do y'all come up with this stuff? Y'all are weird. Y'all need help. Okay, 1-1. Emma's turn next. Yeah. Okay. 2-1. Sorry, I said the score wrong. 2-1.
This is okay. It is.
It's really 2-0. I'm saying the wrong score and they're making fun of me.
It's okay. We'll keep going. It's good. Okay. It is a bag of fluids, and I can't completely figure out what kind of bag of fluids it is. We're just going to go with fluids. And it has a set of plastic keys attached to it, and a green piece of fabric wrapped around it, holding the keys in. Yeah.
So much to digest.
So much.
You said the keys are through it? How could keys be
it's kind of
through
attached.
it?
What the fabric kind of is wrapping it around, holding it in there.
Fluids. Okay. See, I'm not good at this because you did describe that in great detail too. And to come up with that would mean you had a weird mind.
But do I?
I'm going to say truth.
It is true.
Show me.
It is.
Gross. Those are like breast milk bags.
I don't even know. I'm like, I don't want to pick it
What
up.
is happening?
Sodium
Y'all,
chloride.
did y'all go to the hospital and steal someone's saline? You weirdos.
It's so strange.
Oh, wow. Yay, now it is 2-1. I repeat, 2-1. Let's get tie it
So
up.
this could be a tie.
Or leave it. Something's connected. Okay, there we go. Huh. Okay. All right. This is. Well, we're just gonna figure out what this is right now. Okay. This is one of those light batons that people use, I think, to like guide airplanes or cars.
Okay.
I guess back when the church felt the need to direct traffic that we don't do anymore. We should bring that back. They used one of these. And attached to it is a cellular device on a bracelet and a costume pig snout that is rubberized.
This is weird, but I'm pretty sure I've seen a costume pig snout around the church before. So I'm going to go with that you're probably telling the truth. That's also very random to make up. So I'm going to go with the truth.
Truth?
Yes.
Well, it's technically a lie because it's a beeper and a sweatband, not a bracelet.
Oh.
So I changed it up a little bit. But the pig snout, you were right. Good eye. Emma never forgets a pig snout.
I've seen some random things in that drama room.
Oh, okay, well, awesome. Well, Emma still won. She's still better at lying than me. But glad to have played this little game with you, Emma.
Yep.
Y'all chose two people that are laughing about this stuff. Awesome. Well, thank y'all for watching this little segment. Don't forget to come to the Exchange November 1st, our first time meeting back together in person at 6:45 p.m. in the Worship Center to hear from Emma and have some great worship. We can't wait to see you ladies there. Make sure y'all invite your friends. And up next, we have a devotional from her husband, Chris Cunnington. So stick around.
Well, good morning, City on a Hill. It is my opportunity this morning to get to share a devotional with you. And I want to tell you something a pastor once told me, that a believer should always have three messages ready to share. The one that's in their hand, something that they've been writing or thinking about a lot, something they've prepared, maybe they've taught before. The one that's in their head, so it's something that they just know, they know very well and are able to share really without a lot of research. But then the one that's in their heart, the one that maybe something that God is speaking to them right now, and it's not complete, it's not really well worded, but it is what I'm currently learning. And what I'm going to share with you today actually covers all three of those things. It's something that I've learned in my life, and it's something that God is currently speaking to me about right now, and it's the subject of money. Money is a topic that we don't talk about a whole lot here at City on a Hill, and for sure we don't lead with emotionally manipulating moments of trying to, get people to give their money. But it is something it's important to talk about. The Bible talks about it a lot. In fact, more than 140 times money is mentioned. And, it's important for us to talk about it. We have a class going right now on Wednesday nights called Back in the Black. It's all about money and investments. And we learn other things during that time. And one of the things that we learn is not only about things like mortgages and insurance and investment and getting out of debt, which is a large part of what we talk about, but also about really the heart of money. And the Bible talks about that. And in Proverbs 11, verse 25, we understand that it's a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshed others will be refreshed. Like, we start to learn that there's an attitude that God looks at when it comes to money. That is the most important thing, that it is the generous attitude that God blesses in this. And then Proverbs 22 verse 8, it says, God blesses a cheerful and generous giver. There's something important for us to understand about money is, when you look at all of the things the Bible says, that there may be the most consistent theme is that we shouldn't get attached to it. But when it comes to God blessing us, it's not necessarily because of an action, but more because of an attitude. And we look at the heart of our attitudes towards money in the negative and in the positive sense. The defects, the character defects in our life, they sometimes guide us when it comes to money. Things like greed, things like just entitlement or idolatry or codependency. For me, selfishness, is a defect that rears its ugly head in the area of finances, and I have to think twice about making sure that the way that my household manages finances is benefiting others and not just ourselves. I remember when I was a kid, my dad was the treasurer for a charity in Africa, and benefiting particularly kids in Africa. And he kept the money every week. It was gathered from the thrift store. And before he counted it one time, I went and I knew where he stored it. And I went and took $20 or 20 pounds actually, but of the money that was for that African charity for my own personal use. And just, I was only young and there's things I wanted I didn't have money for, and I just decided to take it, and since then, I worked out this week, I've given back to African charities through charities such as Compassion International. More than 200 times what I stole that time. Maybe that's to ease my conscience. I don't really know. But I know that selfishness, it comes up, and as a kid it did, and in adulthood it still does. And I have to kind of work at that. But then on the other side of it, though we have defects that guide us, we also have, character traits that can guide us in a positive way. Faith in God, humility with the way that we use our finances and deal with them. And the one that God has been speaking to me the most, the positive trait, is contentment. And I want to share with you what the Bible says about contentment. In Philippians 4:13, we know the verse, right? The famous verse that I can do all things through him who strengthens me. But the verses before that are the ones that God has really spoken to me. And it says in verse 11 and 12 of Philippians 4, not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And there's a couple of things that, we learn here. Number one is that this famous verse in its context actually changes its meaning, that we kind of think about, I can do all things through Christ. Really, this is about contentment. No matter what my situation, it doesn't dictate what God can do through me. And I can be content with little, with much. It doesn't matter. And do I have that attitude? It's a question I have to ask myself. Do I have the attitude of being content? But the other thing here is we see twice in these verses, he says, I have learned. So apparently contentment isn't something that we're born with. It's something that we learn over time, I guess, through failures sometimes, and other times through reading his word, and sometimes through obedience. We learn how to be content. And it's crazy sometimes we worry about money here in the US, here in Texas. I know that I'm in the top 10% of the world's richest people. If you're watching this and you have internet, you have a roof, you have eaten today, you have change in your pocket, you're in the world's top 10% richest people. Yet there's so often times that we compare, that we wish for things we don't have, that we don't enjoy the things we do have because we're worried about what we're going to get next and the things we don't yet have. And we lose the joy of enjoying what God has given us because we're discontent and always thinking about the next thing. And I remember just a couple of weeks ago having a conversation with my son, Oliver. He's 6 years old, and he has just gotten caught up with these toy review videos on YouTube. He loves them. He loves to watch them unpack the toy, talk about the toy. He loves to see how they put them together, play with the toys, and he gets so excited and he makes this list of toys that he wants every time he watches one of these reviews. And I had to tell him, man, I need you to stop watching those videos for a while, because you are spending more time watching videos about toys you don't have and you want than you do playing with the toys you actually have. And as me and Emma talked about that, is this the right thing to do? And we agreed that it was, to stop him watching these videos for at least for a period of time. Was that I had to do the same thing. I have to make sure I don't spend more time, watching shows on HGTV, thinking about the kind of house I wish I had, or the kind of things my house could look like, and instead of enjoying what God has given me and using it for Him and for others and for my family, and enjoying it and being content with what God has given to us. And so I guess that's really my closing thought is, do you need to take a step back from the worry of finances, from the worry of things that you don't yet have, to enjoy and be content with what God has given you? And, if you need help, financial help, Back in the Black class is still going, and you can still join. You can jump in even this Wednesday and in a practical way learn some things. But more so, this is a chance for us to reflect on where is our attitude towards money, and can we be thankful and content with what God's given us today.